Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I look a little weird. I have one brow on, one primed eye, and then the other thing there's nothing. But as you could tell from the title and from the thumbnail, I am doing a how I did my makeup in high school kind of challenge. But I wanted to shake things up and do something a little bit different. I know that this is kind of a trend that's a little bit out of style, but I never really tried it on my channel, so I wanted to do it today. And then I wanted to kind of take what I did from high school and kind of apply to the other side of my face, how I would do it now with all the techniques that I have learned from YouTube. So this side is going to be the side that I do my high school makeup on, and then I will do the same kind of style, but on this side I will actually do it the way that I would do it now, just to kind of compare and see how much my makeup style has changed, because it definitely changed a lot. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So when I was in high school, I had a bunch of different looks that I would do, and it never really stayed the same. It always kind of changed, but I wanted to kind of do something that I did throughout even like my middle school years that I still did in high school, and was the look that I personally feel like I looked the most beautiful in. And looking back, I know that this is probably not going to look anywhere as near as what I would consider beautiful now. On this side of my face, I didn't ever use a primer. I never used an eyeshadow primer. I never did anything with my face either. I never wore foundation, and I never wore concealer. In the latter half of high school, I would put on foundation and stuff, but this was like more like the first couple of years how I would do my makeup. I obviously didn't own the Jaclyn Hill palette, but this has a lot of the colors that I would use on my face in high school. And I just remember I would go in with a bronzy shimmer shadow. So I'm gonna go into this color. It's called MEEKS, this one right here. And I'm just going to apply that all to the lid. There are two brushes that I used every day. One wasn't actually a brush, one was a sponge tip applicator, and the other one was, funnily enough, my Sonia Kashuk flat brush. And I would use this to kind of blend things into the crease. The weirdest thing ever. I just don't understand how I did that. So I'm actually going to just take this and I'm going to apply the shimmer shadow all over my lid. Now, I'm not going to do this now because it's really disgusting, but I knew that wetting the brush would give it more of like a beautiful texture, but I didn't have any like setting sprays or anything like that. I don't think a lot of companies actually even sold that. So I would literally just lick my brush and then apply it, but I am not going to do that. That's a little bit too much for me right now, so instead I'm just going to apply this straight on. So no primer on my eye, no concealer, nothing, no brow, and I would just go straight in, and I would do it from the lid all the way up to the brow bone. Now, luckily this shadow is very pigmented, but I didn't know what I was thinking applying eyeshadow straight onto my eye with nothing as a base. At least there was a little bit of a makeup artist in me that knew that applying the shadow wet would make it a little bit more intense. I think the most iconic look that I did in high school was I would take a white shadow and put it all over the lid, and then I would go into the crease probably with this brush with like this teal turquoise shadow from this Hot Topic eyeshadow palette that I had, and I would put that in the crease, and everyone would be like, oh my god, how long did it take you to do that? And like everyone was so shook by my makeup skills, but obviously that has changed a lot. So I'm literally just applying this on the entire lid. Now, I don't really know if I took it like under the lash line, but I'm gonna do that just anyway because I feel like I needed more of a rounded out look. I did no inner corner highlight. I didn't do any eyeshadow blending. I actually did like a lot of more like blending and smoky eyes in middle school. I wanted to do like the most makeup possible. I had these like little L'Oreal quads where it would have like a base shadow, transition colors, and then like a liner. And I would do every single color, and I remember doing it like in the morning in the bathroom while everybody was gossiping in there, and I would just do my makeup right before homeroom. I can't believe this is like the makeup that always made me feel the most beautiful, but yeah. So putting that gold shadow all over my entire lid made me feel gorgeous. So that's pretty much it. And then I would go ahead and I would put black liner all over my eye. And I remember like reading in like, I think it was like a Teen Vogue or something like that, that this really closes off your eyes and makes you look too squinty. So I remember reading that and being really offended and like doing it even more because I hated following trends. So I always wanted to do something that was a little bit crazy. I don't think I went like in my actual tight line to do this. I think I just went above like on the lash line, but the techniques that I know now are just like so ingrained in me that I can't imagine like not doing that. Like there's like so much space that isn't filled up. And I think I actually have the same black eyeliner that I had in middle school. Like it was like this long. I think it was like from NYC, or maybe it was like Maybelline New York that it was, but I remember it was like this long. And then I kept using it like on a daily basis, so now it's like this, so I don't really use it anymore, but I still have it. So this is pretty much what I would do. I would line all of my waterline, the entire thing, with black eyeliner, and then I don't have my eyelash curler right now. I left it on Long Island back at my home, but I would curl my lashes so much. I would even curl them after I would do mascara too. And I don't have the mascara that I used back in the day, but I think it was this Pure Cosmetics Big Wink mascara. That was like my favorite because it came in like a big box set of mascaras from Ulta, and I got that as a gift, and I used like every single mascara, and like that one was my favorite. It always made my lashes look the best in my opinion. But I'm just going to use this Maybelline Colossal Big Shot mascara, and I wouldn't always put it on my bottom lashes, but if I wanted to look extra glam, I would do it on my bottom lashes. Now I didn't really do eyeliner for this, like a winged liner for this look, but I wanted to show you guys how I did my liquid liner because I did it such a different way than I do it now, and thinking about how I did it and how it always came out like just gives me nightmares. So I'm gonna take this Maybelline Master Precise liquid liner. It's a felt tip liner, and this isn't the best, but I honestly, the ones that I used growing up were also felt tip and they also sucked, so I feel like that's just fitting for this tutorial. So I'm gonna go ahead and do like the winged liner that I would do in high school. I would just start at the base of the lashes instead of going to make the wing and then bringing it in. I would start at the base of the lashes and then coat my whole lash line, and I would make sure that it was straight, and then I would just go ahead and flick it out like that, and then I would go and make it straight, and then it would always look like that, and I was like, why does it always look like it's like curved? I didn't realize that I should start at the end and then work my way in, and then but always by the time that I went to make the wing, the felt tip would run out of ink. I honestly don't know why I bought this one, because I bought this one after I knew everything about makeup that I needed to know, but I still bought it. I think someone said that it was really good, but it's really not. And that was how I did my liner. It looks like a Nike symbol. It looks like Ariana Grande's eyeliner. So this is more or less what I did, and once again, this was the makeup I felt the most beautiful in. And then this is kind of embarrassing, but I didn't do anything to my brows because I never plucked them. They were always gigantic, so I would never fill them in or do anything like that. But what I would do, and I would do this with a dried out mascara actually. I had this one from Calvin Klein from that same box set that I had that dried out, and I would take that and run it through my brows because it wouldn't leave that much color on it. But I don't have any dried out mascaras, and the ones that I do have are really clumpy, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my regular mascara, and I'm literally just going to put this through my brow. This is actually a pretty common thing, especially with people that have really dark brows. You could use a straight black mascara and run it through your brows and use it as a brow gel, but I am not in that position right now, and also like you gotta fill it in first before you do something like this because the pigment is just so intense. So that's my eyebrow. And then I would do nothing else. At least for the first 2 years, I wouldn't do any makeup on my face at all. And I would just leave it like this. And then also, I never put on lipstick. I hated lipstick. And now I'm thinking like I could never go out of the house without lipstick unless I had a bare face on. So this is literally just what I would do, and I would go to school like this in all of my wonky winged liner glory. And then people would be like, oh my god, your makeup is so great. Like, the more you know. So now I'm just gonna move on to this side and do what I would do now. And I'm gonna use the same Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm probably gonna use the same color, but I'm gonna do it the way that I would now, which is to do transition colors, obviously. And I will list every single shadow that I'm using. I'm not really gonna talk through this because this isn't really like a formal tutorial, but I remember just vividly like always watching like the Kardashians and all these shows where they would have like these crazy smoky eyes, and I would always always try to replicate them, but they never came out the same, obviously, because I didn't know any techniques. I didn't have any blending brushes. I had nothing. I think I had like 2 brushes and a sponge tip applicator, and that was it. That was my whole collection. So I was never able to create like cohesive looks that like looked effortless, but I always tried my best. And I would learn things along the way. Like I learned that putting on a black like eyeliner base and then putting like a shimmer shadow on top of it would make it pop more. So I remember doing that a lot. And I remember just combining different colors, like that same Hot Topic palette that I had. I wouldn't just do the blues, I would also go in with like these oranges and these yellows. I just remember always wanting to play with color, and like I would get so much of like my rock star like colors from Hot Topic makeup, and it wasn't even that good. Like it wasn't good makeup. It was just like the most basic ass makeup. I just wanted to be Hayley Williams so bad. I wasn't really like a scene kid, but I was definitely an emo kid. I would dress up like her for Halloween, and I would always try to copy her makeup looks. She would always do like really cool colors as well, like just really fun makeup. I remember seeing this other look where it was just like a black smoky eye, and then she went in with like a red eyeliner, and I remember trying to like replicate that, and like I never could because I couldn't find a red liquid liner. And I just remember like going in and like doing something like that, and then people would think that I was possessed because of the red, and like I was just such an emo kid. And looking back on it, it's like I just completely 180'd. I'm still like kind of in that mode, but I just have such a different taste level now. High school was just so rough for me. Like I would get bullied by not girls per se, but I would always get teased by guys. And I don't want to say bully because that's really harsh, but I was always just so affected by it because like couldn't understand why people were like fake asking me out, and why men would tease like my hair and my makeup and like the things that I was interested in. Like I was really into like the Jonas Brothers too, and I just remember just always being teased for it. And I know that they probably didn't mean anything hurtful by it, but I was just such a sensitive kid because, not to get too personal, but I was always just very suicidal. Like I was always very depressed on and off throughout my entire life because I didn't feel fulfilled with what I was doing and with the friends that I had, and I did not feel good about myself. So in turn, I would just try to just block everything out and just love what I love, and I just guess people just didn't understand. I was also just like a very smart kid too, and I was just maybe a little bit too serious, and I never like really had fun. I never went out with my friends. I never participated in anything except during my senior year of high school, where I finally felt like I could open up because I changed a lot of my friend groups. I just kind of tried to let loose a little bit. I felt a little bit more confident, like not incredibly confident, but I felt a little bit better about who I was. And I think that it literally was just coming from me just wanting to be accepted and loved, because I felt like no matter where I went, I was always being criticized and judged. I just had a lot of issues like trying to find love and to find romance too. Like I don't know why that was such a big focus for me, but I was just so obsessed with love and relationships, and I was introduced to sex a little bit too young. Like I didn't have sex until I was 17, but I still was just so obsessed with it, and I think that has a lot to do with a lot of my more emotional problems now. I did not expect this to take the turn that it did. I wanted to keep this light, but like just to be 100% honest about, you know, my life in high school, and you know, it was just like, it was rough, but at the same time it was good. Like I built up a lot of my character then, and I had good work ethic, and I made good choices, and I never did the wrong thing. But even my mom was just like, you need to let loose, you need to relax, you need to just calm down and do what you need to do as a kid, which is have fun. But I never really wanted to do that because I don't know, I just hated the people that I went to high school with, and I just hated the immaturity, and I hated being treated like a spectacle because of my different tastes and my different interests. And it wasn't until I was 16, 17 in like senior year where I actually felt like I was accepted, and that I had friends that really appreciated me and liked me and like never created drama with me. But I don't know, I was always the one that like stood up for myself and stood up for people that were being hurt, because I know what it feels like and it doesn't feel good. But if you are in high school right now, like just let me know like how you feel. Like, do you feel accepted? Do you feel like you're in a good place? Because I know that it wasn't until I left that I kind of appreciated high school for what it was and what it taught me. I would never go back. Like am invited to come back to my high school like a lot, especially by teachers because they loved me, but I can't imagine going back there. Like it gives me like hives just thinking about it, and it's because of just such a shitty time that I had there, you know, just bringing back those thoughts of suicide and just really intense stuff, and I just don't want to remember high school being that way. I just want to keep it in the past and kind of focus on my future, because this is like the first time in my life that I actually am looking forward to the future. So, you know, I just kind of want to keep it as a memory. So that was my high school experience. It wasn't all bad like I'm making it out to be, but you always remember the bad, and that's what's really so upsetting, is that I wanted to enjoy my high school experience, but there was just so much about it that made me very upset. And that's just life. I got to move on and kind of embrace the memories that I made and the friendships that did last. Something good came out of it. So clearly, I never wore lashes in high school. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I was like, oh my god, her lashes are so long. And I would watch TV and I wouldn't understand that they were all wearing eyelashes or eyelash extensions even. Like, this was just not a thing that we knew or even cared about. I feel like nobody cared about makeup until now. And I'm just being real when it comes to like not doing a winged liner. Like, I don't really do that too much anymore, but it is so funny how like that was my thing. I always did a wing. Even if I did like no other eye makeup, I would do a wing. But these days I really don't like doing that too often. So it's just so crazy how different each side looks. Like, this looks like a mess, truly. It looks like it's just unblended and it just looks so gross. The shimmer shadow is not doing me justice. But this side looks a lot more refined, a lot more natural. It did take a little bit longer, clearly, so I was not going to be doing that 15 minutes before my bus came. This was just what I had. So because I didn't really do any face makeup, I didn't know what primer was, and even going to college, like, I had no idea what primer was until I think my second year of college, when I really started taking makeup more seriously. I don't know what it was, but like I hated wearing things on my face in high school. I think it was because I just hated my skin. Putting stuff on my skin just also made me uncomfortable. I remember just hating the girls that like packed on the bronzer, like where girls probably really were inspired by this 2000s type of look where it was just like a heavily bronzed face. So all the girls were just so tan and everything like that, and because I was such a negative Nancy, I just hated that whole style. I really despised it. So I would hate putting on like face makeup, and I always just wanted to be pale. It was back to like just wanting to be Hailey Williams. I remember like taking like white eyeshadow and like putting it on my face. I really don't know what I was thinking. Why did I do that? I just don't understand like why I wanted to be pale so much. I just wanted to kind of just be the anti of everybody else, be 100% different than everybody else. So I would just, anything that people did, I did the exact opposite. I hated following trends. Like, I don't know why I didn't just take like a drugstore foundation and just put it on, because like that just makes such a big difference. And then even as I got a little bit older, I would get like the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, and I got the porcelain shade, and I was just so mad with how like it didn't match my skin, and like obviously that didn't match my color at all. That one's too light for me, but for whatever reason I didn't even like that, and I just like, I was wondering like where my brain was, like what did I want? Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I remember getting like this Victoria's Secret palette, and it had like all these eyeshadows, and then it also had like these powders too, and it had blushes, and I like never touched the blush, but I love the eyeshadows. And then I also remember just going in and taking like the really light pressed powder, and I put that all over my face thinking that it was like a powder foundation. So I would take this light powder and I would put it all over my face and just look like a matte person, because I was really oily growing up, so I just wanted to be matte, and that's why I think I was obsessed with powder foundations. It had like no coverage, but for whatever reason I would do it. And then I also remember when I ran out of it, there was like a shimmery one next to it and then a bronze one right after that. So when I ran out of the regular one, I used the shimmer one all over my face, and I was like this is weird, like who uses this? And I was like, that's highlighter. Now I'm thinking back and I'm like, that was a highlighter. Like, you could have looked so snatched in high school. I really missed out on an opportunity. I really did. And then I would go ahead, and after the shimmer shadow was done, I would go ahead and go over to the bronze one, and I would use that all over my face. And I remember people were like, you're so tan, and I'm like, oh no, know this is what I wanted to avoid, but like I didn't know what else to do. I wanted something on my face, but I didn't realize that I was using just a powder, and it was a bronzing powder. I was just so stupid. I really was. A medium toned shadow that you could put around the perimeters of your face, like I'm doing now with my bronzer, just to give you a nice contoured look. But no, I would put it all over my face. Now, I hated blush too, but it's interesting how like this blush quad looks almost exactly like the colors that I had in that Victoria's Secret palette. I tried to use them too, like before I threw it out and was like, this is expired, I can't be using this anymore. I would try to use them for like my everyday looks. I don't really necessarily know if I did this at all, except when I got to college. So I'm just putting this where I put this now, and I'm not doing any on the other side. Like, I can't believe that I thought this looked good. And like it's smudging everywhere. I just don't understand what I was thinking at all. Now I'm just gonna do some highlighter. It is kind of funny how like highlighter was just never a thing. It's more so of like a modern thing. Like I feel like people have always just wanted to look really matte, but nowadays it's more focused on the glow. And this is pretty much it. And I'm just going to go ahead and set the side of the face. It doesn't really matter now, does it? And then because I'm smart now and I wasn't smart back then, I wear a lip product, and just thinking about like having all this foundation and stuff like that, it really washes out my lips anyway, so I don't blame myself for not putting on lip product because my lips always looked like that, so that my natural color is peeking through and it didn't really matter. But the thing is that my natural lip color doesn't necessarily go with every look. Like it looks so much better with like this washed out kind of nude than it would with like my regular lip color. The side just looks so plain and boring and just so not school appropriate. I don't know. Whoever thought I was really good at makeup in high school, like maybe it's just a sign of the times, you know? Nobody really knew how to do makeup back in the day, so I guess anybody that even attempted it was like really good. So that is it for this tutorial of sorts, showing you guys what I did in high school and giving you guys a little bit more background on me and how I was in high school and just how much things have changed and just putting everything into perspective. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. All my other social media accounts will be at the end of this video, and also they are linked in the description box below. And if you want to know any of the products that I did use, because I didn't really talk about them too much, I'm sure you recognize a couple. They will all be in the description box as well. And yeah, if this was a little bit emotional for some people, I'm sorry, I didn't intend for that to happen, but I feel like you guys need to know a little bit more about me and just how I came to get a YouTube channel and kind of put myself out there. Thank you guys for all of your support, and for all the people from high school that still follow me, and for all of you that like all of my pictures on Instagram and my tweets. Like, I really want you to know that I do appreciate you, and thank you for supporting me and just taking what I have built and taking it very seriously. I feel like I didn't appreciate a lot of you enough in high school, because you really are supporters of me now, and it shows, and I really appreciate that. And I'm sorry if I was ever such a dick in high school, but I hope you guys see that I'm not like that anymore. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!